Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. And so today I wanted to talk about the announcement of the new Hearts of Iron 4, quote, country pack that is being released by Paradox Interactive and Paradox Development Studio. And it's obviously for Hearts of Iron 4, as I just mentioned. And this new country pack is called Death or Dishonor. It's coming out for $9.99 on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And it's to be delivered free for all expansion pass owners. And so this country pack, Death or Dishonor, is supposed to focus on countries of Europe that are, quote, caught between the dueling ambitions of the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. Faced with total destruction by a much larger force or making uncomfortable alliances, survival will take compromise, guile, and perhaps a teensy bit of luck. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this because you do not have to go very far to find people who are either kind of happy that there is this new country pack, that there's going to be new national foci for some countries. Specifically, there's new national focus trees for Hungary, Romania, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. These are pretty important countries, as you guys know, from World War II. And apparently, these new national focus trees revolve around, quote, navigating the ideological and physical landmines of Central Europe during World War II. This content furthers Paradox's goal of capturing the unique wartime experience of every nation involved in World War II, but players will also find new opportunities to change the course of history if they so choose. So you won't have to go far to find people who are happy about this and who are very dismayed by this. And I'll tell you right now, I'm one of the people who am a little concerned with the route that Paradox is taking as far as this country pack and the previous expansion Together for Victory. So in my eyes, whatever this is, this country pack, it's not being termed and fledged as a full-bodied expansion pack, right? Even though it does come free to expansion pass owners, it's not being marketed as this huge $15 to $20 expansion pack, as with other expansion packs. Previously, the Together for Victory one is one that stands out to me in particular. There is an accompanying patch, 1.4 Oak update, that, you know, obviously with new expansions to Paradox games, there usually is a free update, free content that is with the expansion pack or the country pack. Here, this expansion is supposed to be followed with a 1.4 Oak update, which is supposed to revamp air gameplay. You're supposed to be able to get some equipment conversion. There's going to be new music, 3 new thematical music tracks from composer Andreas Waldetoft. And there's going to be some new art, I guess. I'm guessing new troop voiceovers, and then new art content for the 4 focus nations. That comes specifically from this Paradox blog post. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys are curious about seeing this. Apparently, this free update is also supposed to include new diplomatic and puppet interactions. You can now license military technology from other nations. You can sell your advances to the highest bidder. Fascist countries get new subject levels like Reichskommissariat, with access to licenses, industry, and strategic resources. That's kind of iffy a little bit because that's interesting. Okay. The instated governments are supposed to be held in an iron grip, making it harder for them to break free. So obviously, I think this means that you can better, I guess, exploit countries and puppets, whereas instead of owning it yourself, owning the territory yourself, which is kind of strange in the first place. And then also there's supposed to be improved map design and display. So the world map has been, quote, clarified to make it easier to follow the action around the world. New impassable areas create tactical chokeholds for more historical gameplay. One of the things they're talking about this is that the Sahara Desert is now going to be impassable, right? To move large quantities of troops and supplies through the Sahara during World War II would have been, you know, close to suicide, if not impossible. And so now they're kind of trying to change up the North African theater in particular with the Sahara and try and get things to be a little more historical, right? There were only certain locations in North Africa that you can go to so that the AI is hopefully better at handling theaters and theaters of war, concentrating forces in important locations like Tunisia and Libya, as well as in Alexandria and Egypt, right, in the Suez Canal. So hopefully that'll be nice. So, as I've said, I'm a little dismayed with this new country pack. Not that they're creating the content in the first place. I've even heard arguments from people on like the Paradox Reddit, the Paradox forums, that Hearts of Iron 4, of all the major games right now that are being worked on by Paradox Interactive and Paradox Development Studio, Hearts of Iron 4 is in a particularly negligible situation, I would say. Some people have said that Hearts of Iron 4 has gotten the least amount of work in this 12-month, almost 12-month time period that the game has been released. We're coming up right now. Today is April 26th, 2017. We're going to be coming up on a year of release. This game was released June 6th, 2016, and people have speculated that there's just not been that much progress on the game since it was released almost a year ago. And I and some other people are dismayed by this country pack in particular. They're adding national focus trees for Hungary, Romania, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. Now, not to try and rank countries to be more superior than others, but the fact that there's only 4 new focus trees coming there's only 4 focus trees coming to this expansion as a country pack is a little worrying to me. But even the bigger worry to me is that these country national focus trees are not free content. At least that's what I am understanding, according to this blog post, is that this isn't free content that they're giving you. In order to get these new focus trees, you'll have to buy this country pack to be able to get that experience, to be able to get that new experience with these focus trees and with these new features. Obviously, the 1.4 Oak update is free, but as I've said, I think to my understanding, this new Death or Dishonor country pack brings national focus trees specifically, right? So I'm assuming if you don't buy this expansion, you're not getting these focus trees. Some people have said that there need to be more focus trees. People have speculated that Spain, Bulgaria for sure, and Finland should be a part of these new countries that get national focus trees. They were equally as important and equally in the middle of the ambitions of the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany as, you know, Hungary, Romania, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. So that's one camp. That's one idea of thought that I'm starting to see in regards to the feedback to this Death and Dishonor announcement. The other camp, and I must admit that I am kind of a part of this camp, is that these new focus trees for Hungary, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia should not only be increased, there should be more countries added to these additional national focus trees. There should be Finland, hopefully in there, Spain, Bulgaria, maybe even something else. But also, a lot of people are saying that this country pack should be free. And I have to admit that I'm kind of in that camp. I do think that there is a bit of an overstep by Paradox by saying that this should be paid content. $9.99, don't get me wrong, is not incredibly expensive. I don't think that's a lot to pay for what you're getting here. And yet, I do think that it's feeding a bad precedent for Paradox Development Studio and Paradox Interactive. I have problems with Hearts of Iron 4. You don't really have to look too far to find out that the AI is in shambles. The AI is not offering a really challenging and really fulfilling single-player experience for the most part. There's people who are achievement hunters, and there's people who like to min-max and game the system, and they, I guess, enjoy exploiting the AI. But for the vast majority of people, I would say the single-player is lackluster. The multiplayer I've heard is better. I'm not a multiplayer kind of person myself, so I don't know if I have really the position to comment on that. I don't play multiplayer Hearts of Iron 4. Some other people have said that the multiplayer is a lot better than the single player, and yet I find that that's an illegitimate position to criticize people who complain about the single player. The AI is by far one of the most important aspects of any Paradox Development Studio grand strategy. Most people play single player grand strategy. They don't play multiplayer. There's actually quite a different feel to playing grand strategy from a multiplayer perspective compared to a single player perspective. I'm one of those guys that plays single player grand strategy games only. I really don't enjoy multiplayer that much. I've never been interested in it, and I'm not, I don't have much experience with multiplayer under my belt as far as grand strategy games are concerned. And so some people have said that Hearts of Iron 4 and the Hearts of Iron 4 team should not be pushing and developing these new focus trees and this new content for money, right? They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be developing these new features and these new additions to the game on a paid basis. They should be free because the game has such glaring problems. I guess some people want to feel that by this new content being delivered for free, Paradox is showing that they're trying to improve upon their game every little bit of the way and less like trying to extort people. I know that's kind of a weird way to put it, but I have to admit, I kind of agree with that. I kind of think that this Death or Dishonor pack should have more content in it, and that content should not be paid content. The game itself, Hearts of Iron 4, I know that Paradox is trying to fix a lot of the problems, but the game Hearts of Iron 4 itself has glaring problems. It really does. With the AI, with game design, there's a struggle with longevity as far as Hearts of Iron 4 is concerned. A lot of people really kind of play the game a lot in the beginning and just kind of let it fall by the wayside after only 30, 40, 50 hours. I must admit that I'm one of these people that kind of did that. The game is not really fun for me to play. I don't enjoy it very much. I don't think there's enough content. There's not enough longevity. There's not a lot of replayability. The AI is, as I've said, not worthy of delivering a challenging and fulfilling gameplay experience as far as a single-player grand strategy game is concerned. I think some implementations of the game are good. You know, I do think that they've done a fairly good job of kind of maneuvering around the various theaters that you can fight in. The Pacific feels like the Pacific to some extent. The European theater feels like the European theater to some extent. The Western Front, the Eastern Front. You know, each of the major countries, I guess you could say, the majors, right? Japan, United States, United Kingdom, and obviously Nazi Germany do feel like themselves. They at least feel for the most part as the majors, and they play like such in strategical and tactical considerations. But I do think that there should be more focus trees here in this Death or Dishonor country pack, and that I would really appreciate and I would respect Paradox more. They would have my respect more if they delivered this content for free to all users. I just feel like there's a bad precedent that we are continuing to perpetuate if it is that we give Paradox Interactive this kind of money and this kind of investment and this kind of time, expecting that, oh, the game is going to be better and better and better if we just keep throwing money at the situation and they keep adding these new little additions to the game, little by little, but also charging us for it. It's kind of like appeasing the crocodile, hoping that he'll eat you last. I don't know. It's just not that Paradox is a crocodile and they're trying to eat us, but the reality is they are a company and they need to make money and they need to make people happy, but the money situation is in there. And when we have to invest and we have to pay for this kind of content that some people think it needs to be delivered for free, or some people think that it's since it's lacking already, you should at least try and make up for the situation. I think if we're giving Paradox Development Studio money for this amount of content, it's a worrying. I don't know. It worries me. It concerns me for the Hearts of Iron 4 community. It concerns me for Paradox Development Studio as a company. I love Paradox Development Studio. I love Paradox Interactive. They are awesome people. They make really awesome stuff, and I think by far they have a position in the world that cannot be filled and cannot be filled and occupied by any other company ever. But I would be very dismayed if they feel like they can release expansions and country packs that include little bits of content here, little bits of content there, to make up for a game that is fundamentally flawed, right? It's like putting a bandage over a cut. If the cut is going to keep bleeding and it's pretty deep and serious, a bandage isn't going to do anything. Fundamentally, the cut is still there. The injury is still there. You've already harmed and you've done harm to some people. And I want your thoughts on this. You, the viewer who's watching this video, what do you think about this new country pack? Are you happy about the announcement of this new country pack? Do you think, hey, yeah, I would give $10 for this content? Or are you dismayed? And do you really think, no, I don't know if I actually want to pay $10 for this. I do think that this should be either cheaper or it should be delivered free. And let me know why. Why is it that you think that? I really would like to know. And I'd like your thoughts on it. So I appreciate your feedback, and I appreciate you for watching this video. If you're interested in it, or if you hated this video, let me know. I really want to hear your thoughts. So thank you so much, and I'll see you around. Thanks so much.